having just gone out of the 10 a.m. showing of Paw Patrol, the mighty movie. The first movie made it in my top 10 of 2021. Will this one make my top 10 of 2023? Quite possibly. Hey everyone, what's going on? Welcome to the channel and thank you so much for taking your own time out to check out this review from my car. I'm sorry I haven't got the audio equipment I normally have today, but I'm here to talk about Paw Patrol, the mighty movie. Once again, it's directed by Cal Brunker and got voice casts such as Mckenna Grace. We've got some new additions here like Chris Rock, Taraji P, Henson, James Marsden, and this tells the story of a media hit Adventure City. Once it does, it releases these crystals and the Paw Patrol gain powers. However, those powers get into the wrong hands of Victoria Vance and Paw Patrol have got to save the day. I'd like to give a huge thank you to all my awesome patrons who help to really support the channel. If you want to join Patreon, shop merch, buy a copy of my debut book, you can find a link to that down below in the description box. And also, if you want to request a movie for me to watch, I do have a link to my PayPal where you can request this to be watched as a short and reviewed with a shout out, or you can request a long form review with a shout out, also link down below in the description box. Going into this movie, as I mentioned, I really enjoyed that first movie of 2021. It was a big surprise for me, and I was very excited to check this one out. I will say I'm a 33-year-old man checking out this movie, so maybe I'm not the absolute target demographic audience, but I took that with a pinch of salt and just thought, heck, I'm going to check out the sequel because I enjoyed the first one. And I can say, after this movie ended, I had a good time. Do I think it's more tailored for kids? Yeah, absolutely. But I think going into this movie, what is really important to know is that this is just kind of switch your brain off, just relax, have fun, enjoy an animation movie from Nickelodeon and Paramount. And that is exactly what this is. The animation here, once again, is absolutely awesome. It is solid. Now, it's not going to hit Disney Pixar levels, but it is definitely still very solid. The whole city of Adventure City feels a little bit different this time. Of course, that certainly is helped by the superpowers that the pups gain, but also it just feels new. It feels refreshed. It feels more kind of refined, and I think that is definitely an improvement in that sense over Paw Patrol the movie. This movie focuses more on the character of Sky. So the first movie definitely showcased Chase and more about his backstory, and I really enjoyed that. This time around, we kind of get more of a female-focused kind of tale, and that's not a bad thing. It's not kind of shoved down your throat or to the point where you're kind of just cringing at what's happening. I personally actually really enjoyed it because we get more story on Sky. We get more story on Liberty, for example, just to name a few. And of course, we've got a female villain this time of Victoria Vance, voiced by Taraji P, who is great, by the way. She is just hamming up this voice role. I really enjoyed that. But it's more of a female kind of told tale, but it's also nice to get a bit more backstory about these characters, because I personally don't watch the TV series. I never have done, but I've played the PS4 games, and I quite enjoy those. Very simplistic, but I quite enjoy them. So it's nice just to get a bit more backstory, and it's also nice that this movie focuses on another character or two and gives them a bit more backstory. This definitely is just voice casted well. Animation again is solid. The story here, although it's kind of a predictable one, still enjoyable. A couple of times I still had chuckles, and of course Rubble is the one who makes me laugh once again, and he did so in this outing. I will say, however, the humor isn't as solid here as that first outing. I feel as if it's kind of toned back and scaled back a little bit, and it's kind of more of a serious kind of tale, which is not a bad thing. It's just a different approach that they decided to do. And I will say this, there's one song in here in particular that absolutely does not fit a certain theme whatsoever, and it's the song I Don't Care. I can't remember who sings that song, whereas the rest of the soundtrack pretty much fit every single thing that was happening. A serious moment, a light-hearted moment, a moment where you get a lot of action and kind of fire and explosions with his meteors. It fit great but that one song was absolutely out of place. And I don't know if it's to kind of tailor towards just having, pop hit songs, so everyone is like, oh yeah, I know that song. Yeah, maybe get kids into it. Kids know those songs, and I get them like kind of like bouncing, and I just don't feel like as if it worked. Again, I know I'm not the target audience. There is also some messaging in here about kind of social media, not so much being in front of like TVs, but then it's also saying about like following on social media. So again, it is definitely targeting that younger demographic. I will say in terms of like, if I prefer this over the first movie, parts of it, yes. I think this one is definitely more kind of like blockbuster, more high octane energy, and there's a lot more kind of like fight sequences and stuff, which is cool. But there's also parts of the first movie I do actually personally prefer overall, because it's more grounded, more simplistic of a tale. Whereas this one is definitely going for that kind of like sequel, like bigger and better at times. So yeah, overall, still a good movie. Still enjoyed it. If you're going to take the great kids or you're going to take the grandkids, I think they're going to have an absolute blast. In my showing, there was definitely plenty of kids chuckling a lot of the times, or like, at the end there was even a couple of claps from some kids, like really enjoyed it. So I definitely think it's going to be a one that's going to hold their attention spans. My overall score for Paw Patrol, the Mighty movie, is a 3 out of 5 stars. So have you seen Paw Patrol, the Mighty movie? Are you going to check it out? Well, leave any and all comments down below, because your guys' thoughts are the most important ones, and I'd also love to continue the discussion down there. If you enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up by clicking below the thumbs up, and also the other side of that, the red subscribe button, so I can see you again on future videos. And until then, I'll see you in the next video.